Good morning, students.
Good morning.
Shall we start? So let us take up today Porter's 5 force model, which we had done in Inter-C also. So yesterday we had done Porter's value chain analysis. Today we are doing Porter's 5 forces model, which talks about the industry forces which leads to competition and the severity of the competition, or we can say the intensity of the competition, and the profitability level that it creates or that can be expected. Okay, so Michael Porter has devised this in 1979, where he identified 5 forces which decides the intensity or the severity of the competition, and on the basis of that, the profitability level will be decided. Okay, so he has given this particular diagram where the industry rivalry is one of the factors, threat of entry, bargaining of power of buyers, bargaining of power of sellers, and threat of substitutes is there. And these are the 5 forces which Michael Porter has identified, which leads to severe competition amongst the members. Now, on the basis of this, as I told you yesterday, that I will be giving you some homework also today. Now, threat of new entrants. Let us start with the first one, threat of entry or threat of new entrants. How easy or difficult it is to enter an industry? Are there any legal hurdles or financial hurdles to enter an industry? That will decide the number of competitors in the market. For example, suppose the entry into an industry is very easy. There are no government restrictions. There are no rules and regulations. Any person can enter the industry with a low cost of investment. Then that becomes a threat. That becomes a threat because any number of investors can join the industry and you may have severe competition within a short period of time. For example, now, let us talk about our own industry, the teaching industry. There are no rules and regulations as to who can start teaching. Anybody who is competent enough to teach can start the teaching. You can start a coaching institute. Either it is online or offline. Even if it is offline, there is no registration required. There is no licensing required. Any person can start. So the ease of entering into the business is always there. That means any person with a less amount of capital also, hardly any amount of capital, can enter into this teaching line. He just needs to have this professional skill of communication and of convincing the student of being able to deliver the subject. So if that capacity is there, any person can start the teaching business. So entry into the industry, teaching industry is very easy. So therefore we have a lot of competition. But if you talk about an airline industry, you'll find that a lot of rules and regulations have to be complied with. Huge investment is required. Huge investment. Because one aircraft will cost you crores of rupees. Then you have to get licensing from the government. You have to get licensing from the airport authorities of India. You have to find a suitable place for parking your aircraft. That is the hangar, as you call it. So all these things are required. Even after that, you are flying routes. Which routes you are going to operate on? That will be again subject to government rules and regulations. Cost of fuel, ATF. Again, that is a very high cost. So that means it is not easy to enter any airline industry. I cannot decide today that tomorrow I'm going to have an airline industry. Tomorrow I'm going to have aircraft flying all over India or all over the world because I will require huge amount of investment first. So financial constraints are there, plus legal constraints are there. I have to get a lot of permissions, a lot of licensing. Then pilots are to be hired. Those pilots must be having valid licenses to fly. Particular restrictions are there on number of flying hours that the pilot should be having before entering into a commercial flight. So that means there are restrictions on entry of a player. Therefore, in the airline industry, competition is less severe. It is there, but it is less severe. Okay. So low amount of capital, less amount of regulations, then no government permission required, no branding is required. When that happens, then the entry to the business or entry to the industry becomes very simple. So you'll have a large number of competitors. Bargaining power of suppliers. If the suppliers are less in number, their bargaining power is more, which leads to any amount of price that can be charged by the supplier. The supplier is a king. He can charge you whatever price he wants. He can charge you a very exorbitant price, a very high price. You don't have an option but to buy from him because there are limited suppliers. Or the supplier thrashes out poor quality products. He sells poor quality products. You have no other option but to buy from him because he is the only player in the market. So they will be dictating terms, right? So there are very few suppliers and a large number of buyers, or raw material substitutes are not available in the market. Okay. So when these things happen, then the supplier's bargaining power increases. They can dictate the terms. They can sell at a very high price, or they can sell at a very low quality product. Bargaining power of buyers. If the bargaining power of buyers is more, that means the buyers are more powerful. They will dictate the terms. They will indicate the price. And you cannot charge a very high price because then buyers will stop buying from you. Okay. So even if a company has a large amount of sales made to one particular customer, then he can start dictating terms. Suppose I have my customers, maybe one customer who's buying 40% of my output. That means it's a sizable amount. 40% of my output. That means out of every 1,000 units I'm producing, he's purchasing for the 400 units. So that is a sizable number. So tomorrow, if he stops buying, then all of a sudden my sales will come down from 1,000 to 600. So he has got a influence over the pricing, right? So bargaining power of buyers. Plus, if there are large number of suppliers in the market, then the bargaining power of buyers will increase. If there are a large number of substitutes available in the market, the bargaining power of buyers will increase. And the consumers become the king. They will start dictating terms as to what prices the suppliers should be selling the goods, what quality is required. Okay. And always remember that buyers are price sensitive. Buyers are price sensitive. And this also I experienced when I came to Karnataka, because in Bombay we used to be charging per student, per subject at CA final level, nothing less than 15 to 20,000. Nothing less than 15 to 20,000 per subject. Huh? It is not all subjects. And the higher you charge, the more students you get. The higher you charge, the more students get. Because the logic of Bombay students is that if a person, if a teacher is good, if he has got quality, he will charge a high price for his quality. If a teacher is not good and he knows that his quality is poor, he will charge a low price for his subject. So if you take the look at the side of the student and say, why to charge so much for the students? I'll charge less. Students don't think that way. Students think that he's charging less, that means his quality is less, his quality is poor. So they don't come. So students will go to faculties who are charging 20,000, 25,000 because they feel that something is great over there. When I came down to Urbi, just imagine, from 20,000, I had to come down to 5,000. 1/4 of the rate. and I continued in Udupi for 2 years for the same price, 5,000. Third year, I decided 2 years have passed. I'm charging you. 2 years means 4 batches have passed. I will increase 500 rupees. It's due on inflation. So I told the students 5,500. Students said, sir, 5,500 you are charging. Last year you were charging 5,000. I said, so what? Difference of 500, 10% inflation over a period of 2 years. He said, 500 more, sir. You will sit at home and study instead. You will not be able to afford that 500 more. I said, 500. He said, you are saying 500, but we are saying 500. For them that 500 is a big figure. So I could not increase the subject fees even by 500 rupees. I said, okay, fine. I'll continue at 5,000. So buyers are the king. The consumers are the king over there. If you increase even 100 rupees over there, they will say, no, we will prefer to sit at home and study, but 100 rupees more we will not pay. So buyers bargaining power, right? Then we have a threat of substitutes. If there are substitutes available in the market, then your pricing has to be taken into consideration, the substitutes that are available, what they are charging. Accordingly, we have to reduce our prices or we have to fix our prices. So availability of substitutes in the market, you can say cheap substitutes or you can say only substitutes, because even substitutes are sometimes creating a problem for price fixation. Because if there is an alternative, the consumers always have the benefit of going for alternative rather than this. But sometimes what happens is the alternatives don't work out. For example, if I want to, let us say my laptop battery has gone down, and it has actually gone down last month. So when I went to buy a laptop battery, the shopkeeper asked me, sir, you want original or you want local? Both are compatible. Sir. Original is going to cost you 1,000 rupees more. Local will cost you 1,000 rupees less. Because people in Hyderabad here or anywhere you will go to see, they will go for the cost. But if the substitute is available at 1,000 rupees less, they will go for the substitute, local brand. But then how long it is going to last? I look at it from that point of view. Quality, long lasting, warranty. So the local brand does not have that. Warranty is not there. Long lasting may not long last. It may be for a short period of time. Again, you have to go and buy. So the 1,000 rupees less that they are charging becomes actually costlier for me because I will have to pay the price twice in 1 year. So like that, if substitutes are available, then the prices of the commodities become comparable and competitive in nature. Then industry rivalry, that means industry rivalry amongst competitors, how severe it is. And this will depend upon exit barriers, more in the case of industries, exit barriers. Is it easy to exist a business? Are there legal constrictions or legal prohibitions for quitting the industry? Are there legal effects? For example, you are having an employee base of 5,000 people working in your company and you decide to close down the business. So government says, no, you can't because 5,000 people will be on the road. They will be unemployed. You can't do that. So either you provide them with alternative employment or you continue the business, right? So if there are exit barriers, then in that case, you will find that it is difficult to come out of the business. So compulsorily, you are forced to continue the business. And you have to face the rivalry, right? So industry rivalry, how severe it is. These are the 5 forces which decide about competition, pricing, profitability of any company in any industry, right? So we come to this threat of new entrants in the market, how easy or how difficult it is to enter an industry. If an industry is profitable, then what happens? There are few barriers to enter. That means Nothing is there, no restrictions to enter. Rivalry intensifies, that means the competition will be more. So industry is profitable, few barriers of entry, rivalry will intensify. That means there will be severe competition. When more organizations compete for the same market share, profits start to fall. So that means when there is severe competition, then the profits will decline. Threat of new entrants is high. At least 3 to 4 points you should have. When less amount of capital is required, existing companies cannot do anything to retaliate. Okay. Existing firms do not possess patents, trademarks, or do not have any established brand reputation. There is no government regulation. Low customer loyalty. Nearly identical. Okay. So then there is threat of new entrants. Then bargaining power of suppliers. Few suppliers and many buyers. Okay. Suppliers are large in number and they threaten to forward integrate. Less number of substitutes. Cost of switching is going to be very high. That means if you are going to switch over from one supplier to another supplier, the cost of switching over may be quite high. Quite high in the sense that suppose your raw materials you are purchasing from supplier A, you decide now to stop the purchase from supplier A and you are going to shift to supplier B. But suppliers B raw material is slightly different. And for that difference, you have to change your machines. You have to buy new machines. Then it becomes a costly affair. So you decide not to go for the new supplier. You can decide to continue with the old supplier. So he can dictate terms, the price, the quality, etc. So bargaining power of suppliers is more. Bargaining power of buyers. When you are buying in large quantities, as I told you, that one company's sales, 40% of a company's sales is only to one supplier, one customer. And that customer who's purchasing 40% of the goods has got bargaining power. Only few buyers exist. Buyers threaten to do backward integration. There are many substitutes available. Buyers are price sensitive. Threat of substitutes, when you are having possibility of others selling cheaper substitutes or lower priced commodities of a similar nature, then you have to have competitive prices or attractive prices. Switching from one product to another product is very easy in that case. Last one, rivalry amongst existing competitors. Where there are large number of competitors, exit barriers are very high. Industry growth is low. Okay. Competitors are of equal size. Low customer loyalty. So these are the 5 forces of polluter. Now, what type of question will be asked in the examination? They will ask you a question where they will give you a particular company or they will give you a particular industry and they will ask you to analyze that company or the industry on the basis of Porter's 5 force model. Okay, and that is exactly what you are going to do as a homework. So given a company, any company I can give you, you have to see first which industry the company lies in. Whether it is a manufacturing company or it is a service company. Second, if it is a manufacturing company, then what type of industry it belongs to? IT sector, whether it is a manufacturing iron and steel, pharmaceutical products, engineering products, plastic toys, garments, textile industry. So which industry it belongs to? And then analyze on each of the factors, on each of the 5 forces. What is the nature of raw materials? What is the nature of suppliers? Are there large number of suppliers? Are there less number of suppliers? Who are the customers of that particular product? Okay, like that you will have to analyze each point. So since we have talked about the airline industry, first let us discuss about the airline industry, and then I will give you the homework so that you know how to write the answers or what points we have to write for the answers. So let us talk about airline industry. Okay, as far as airline industry is concerned, what would you say is the threat of new entrants into the airline industry? Is it high? Is it low? threat of new entrants in the airline industry. Can you have
It's
large
low.
number of competitors in the airline industry? Is the entry easy?
Entry is difficult.
So what will you say? Threat of new entrants is high or low?
It's low, sir.
It is low. Okay. Akhilesh, tell me, bargaining power of suppliers in the airline industry is high or is it low? Bargaining power of suppliers of an airline industry, is it high or low?
Supplier is high.
Supplier, it is high. Why?
I believe mainly supplier is like they will be wanting petrol for running. So the price will be decided by the authorities. So they might be bargaining the airline industry.
Okay. Fine. Yes, Satvika, what do you say? Bargaining power of suppliers, high or low? Will the suppliers have a high bargaining power or will they have a low bargaining power? Your voice is not audible. Okay, tell me, Satvika, who are the suppliers for an airline industry? Name any one supplier in the airline industry. Satvika is not audible. You're not audible. Either you have to speak a little bit louder or maybe that mic is switched off. Just check your mic again. Because you're not audible at all. Increase the volume of your mic. Not audible. If you're using a mobile or a laptop, there is a volume indicator that just increase that volume indicator. Because sometimes you're on, but the volume is on the lower side.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes. Now I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Now you're audible.
Yes.
So who are the
Sir, suppliers power will be high. Since the competitors are less now, so the suppliers bargaining power will be high. One thing, and Indigo Airlines is one of the examples for suppliers.
name at least one supplier for airline industry?
Sir, Indigo Airlines.
Indigo Airlines is the company. It's not the supplier. Who's the supplier for Indigo Airlines? Yes, Swastik.
I don't know, sir. I will check it.
Yes. Yes, Swastik. Who's the supplier for Indigo Airlines?
I don't know, sir.
Supplier will be the company which is manufacturing the aircraft. For the airline industry, what is the product? The product is the aircraft. Who is the supplier of aircraft? There are only two companies supplying aircraft. One is Boeing and one is Airbus. Airbus and Boeing are the only two companies which are US companies manufacturing aircraft for all the countries all over the world. All the aeroplanes which are manufactured either by Boeing or they are manufactured by the company called Airbus. So there are only two suppliers of aircrafts for any company, for any country. If you want to buy planes, whatever type of planes they are manufactured only by these two companies. Okay, so commercial flights, then passenger flights, all are manufactured by only these two companies. So there are only two suppliers in the market. So since there are only two suppliers in the market, you don't have a third option. The bargaining power of suppliers is going to be very high. Yes, Swasti, tell me, what is the bargaining power of customers? Is it high or low?
Bargaining power is low, sir, because they have to like whatever the price is quoted by the company, they have to adhere to.
So you mean to say that if the company, if the airline charges 10,000 for a flight from Bangalore to Chennai, or 20,000 for a flight from Bangalore to Chennai, people will buy quietly.
No.
Then, so customers are large. Your customers are large in number. So if you unnecessarily increase the prices all of a sudden, they will start protesting. They will go to the government. Government will then start regulating the prices. That is exactly what has happened in the airline industry. They were charging a large amount after the COVID. So government has come down heavily upon them and they have asked them to reduce the fares. So since the customers are large in number, the bargaining power is very high of the customers also. So bargaining power of suppliers is high, bargaining power of customers is high. What about substitutes? Threat of substitutes. Yes, Akhilesh? Threat of substitutes. Is the threat
It is
high or
low.
low?
Low, sir.
Why low?
Sir, if you want speedy travel, there is no substitute for it.
Absolutely.
Only airline can provide.
Yes. So if you want to travel fast, speed, the main advantage of airlines is speed. So if you want to travel fast, then you have to travel by air, because that will hardly take you about 1 hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, maximum 2 hours. So if you're traveling by road or by rail, it may take 24 hours, maybe sometimes 48 hours, depending upon how long the distance is. So whatever may be the distance, that distance is covered within a short period of time with the help of aircraft. The substitutes are not anywhere near also. So you can't think of any substitutes. If you want to reach for a particular meeting on time and you have less than 24 hours with you, then the only option is a flight. You can't go by road or railways, right? So this is one of the benefits, that the threat of substitutes is low, but all other things are high. What of threat of substitutes is low, threat of new entrants is low, but bargaining power of buyers is high, bargaining power of suppliers is high. What about rivalry amongst themselves in the industry? Is it high or low? Rivalry amongst the players in the market, is it high or low? That is also very high, isn't it? Because every airline, whether it is Indigo or Jet Airways or Air India, is now trying to capture the global market share to a large extent. Because a lot of air companies, that is your foreign companies having their aircrafts, are finding it difficult to operate because of the high cost. So many of the airlines are reducing their number of flights or cancelling their flights between destinations. So Indian companies are, since they are doing well, much better than the foreign companies, they are trying to capture the global market share. So as far as the rivalry amongst competitors is there, it is very high, because each company wants to have more number of flights, more number of routes added to their schedule. Okay, so this is how we analyze the airline industry. So like that, I will be giving you one particular company or an industry, and you have to write each particular force, that is like threat of new entrants, write a small paragraph on that, threat of new substitutes, write a small paragraph on that, bargaining power of suppliers, write a small paragraph on that. So wherever possible, you can give examples also. For example, I told you that in the case of bargaining power of suppliers, you can mention that there are only two suppliers, Boeing and Airbus. And as a result, since there are only two suppliers, the cost is going to be dictated by the supplier. So like that, wherever possible, give examples so that you can explain your answer. So all the 5 forces you have to write down with the headings, and under the headings, a small paragraph as to whether it is going to be high or low and the reason for that, explanation for that, if possible, with the help of examples, right? So that is about Porter's 5 force model. Now let us come to 2 small short notes. One is core competency analysis, CCA. Core competency analysis, and the other one is called as segmentation analysis. Okay, these two are the questions which can be asked for short notes. Let us come to core competency analysis. Core competency analysis, it is a distinctive or unique skill or technological know-how that creates distinctive customer value. The core competencies of a function are a function of the collective skill of people, organization, structure, resources, and technical know-how. So core competency of a business means what they are best at. What they are best at. Because see, resources are available to all companies. Whatever resources you want, you can purchase it from the open market. But what are you best at? Okay, that is very important to know. For example, I am a teacher. I can teach anything. But can I teach a science subject? Answer is no. You ask me to take the lecture on physics or chemistry or biology, I will not be able to take. You say, sir, but you are a teacher. Yes, I'm a teacher, but that is not my core competency. That is not my domain. So what is my domain? Commerce. So any subject in commerce I can take. That is my core competence. So when you decide your career after 10th standard, whether you are going for commerce or whether you are going for science, that is the point where you decide where your strengths are. Your strength is in commerce, you have joined commerce. If your strength is in science, then you will join science. So core competency means what is that unique skill that you are having, that unique distinctive feature that you are having, which gives you the dominance, which gives you the confidence that yes, I can do it. Okay. Sometimes some people, even after doing commerce, they feel that okay, I am good. I'm having some more analytical powers. So let me do something like data analytics. So you get into data analytics. Now, data analytics is something to do with science, a little bit of science, yes, but more of science and commerce mixture, right? So, all these types of things, it depends on what is your core competence. Now, even after you become a chartered accountant, if you're going for a big four, they will ask you which domain you want. So you have to decide the domain. You have to decide whether you are going for the tax, you are going for audit, you are going for valuation, you are going for risk management, for which particular area you want to specialize in. That is your core competency. You may say audit, but when your interview is being conducted, the interviewer feels that you have got more knowledge as compared to audit in the tax field. So they will tell you that don't go for audit, you are better for the taxation. You are better for mergers and acquisitions, M&A. So they will take you into that particular section. So your core competency will decide what you are going to do. The same way for a company also. The core competency of the team of the company, the management of the company, will decide what the company is going to manufacture. Okay. So it is a combination of the skill of the people, the skill of the organization, the resources which the organization has, the technical knowledge that the organization can afford to contribute. Okay. Now, this could result from cost leadership or product differentiation. Core competencies arise from two sources. One is resources and the second is capabilities. Resources are factors that enable a company to create value for customers. They can be tangible or intangible. The more difficult a resource is to imitate or copy, brand names, copyrights, franchises, the more valuable it is for the organization. So the more difficult it is to copy, the more difficult it is to imitate, higher is the value of that resource for the organization. Capabilities, it refers to the company's ability to coordinate the resources and put them into productive use. Availability of resources by themselves does not guarantee core competency and success. It has to be backed by capabilities. Just to inform you, I may be going out of the teaching sector within a few months more. This lecture of yours will continue, don't worry about that. Going out of teaching sector means that I am now 24/7 into the teaching sector. So I've got an offer from a corporate in Hyderabad here, which is into educational field only, but they have asked me to join them for admin as well as for administration as well as for lectures. So now a little bit change in my profile, in the sense that up till now I was only concentrating on teaching, but maybe that there will be a time, maybe from next week onwards, I will be joining the corporate where they are having corporate training. Corporate training in the sense that, ENY, Deloitte, all the employees who are there, we give them corporate training for CPA, that is for CPA US, CMA US, and we are training their employees to do the analysis of financial statements of multinational companies in India as well as companies abroad. So maybe I will be getting into that particular domain within a next few weeks or next few months. So what happens is that this organization of mine, yesterday I had gone for the meeting for that, and they told me, sir, that we have got all the resources. We are having a lot of finance. They said we have got a lot of resources. We are having a lot of raw material. Now, what they call as raw material, students. They are running a number of colleges in Hyderabad, right? They are having a number of colleges in Hyderabad, and the total strength of the students that they are having in their colleges all over Hyderabad is around 15,000 plus. So they said that, sir, we are having the resources, we are having the students, we are having the raw material. They have to be converted into finished product. We have got the money, but we don't have talented people. We have got teachers, but not teachers up to that level. They are mediocre. So we want something to run the business. We want a person to guide us to run the business, especially for international studies like CMA US or CPA or ACCA or IF or financial corporation accounting, FCA. So like that, they are having a lot of international courses that they are having. They want a person to handle all those things. They say we are having teachers, but we are not looking for teachers. We are looking for persons who can manage those courses, international courses, give us guidance on that. We are having money, we can spend the money, we can invest. So resources are there, but capabilities are not there. So sometimes what happens is like this, there may be organizations who are having a lot of money. They are having the technology also, but they are not having people to run the technology. Okay, so it is not necessary that you should have resources only. You should have resources and capabilities, somebody who can handle those resources, right, and channelize them into productive manner. So core competency means what is your basic skill? Where are you expert in? What is your core competency? That is, what is your main domain? What is your main strength? And for that, you should have resources plus capabilities. Resources plus the possibility of putting things together, right? So that is your core competency analysis. Very important short note. Segmentation analysis. Segmentation analysis is where a company is involved in different segments of the market. For example, you may have an automobile company or an aircraft company, manufacturing not only the aircraft, but different parts of the same aircraft or different parts of the same automobile. Okay, so you are requiring the tires of an automobile. You require the interiors of the automobile. You require the electronic circuiting to be done in the automobiles. You require the body of the automobile to be manufactured, the frame of the automobile to be manufactured. So that means you are in different industries. You require the headlights, which is in glass. You require the windshield, which is made up of a different type of glass, right? So you require different components coming from different segments of the industry. So I've given you the example there. An automobile industry consists of a tire industry, glass industry, battery industry, metal segments for the body. So it is important to examine the structural characteristics of different industry segments. This will reveal the competitive advantages and disadvantages of different segments. Identify segmentation variables and categories, construct a segmentation matrix. That means what all things you require, what all components you require, which industries they come from. Because your headlight and tail light comes from the glass industry. Your windshield also comes from the glass industry, but different type of glass is used for that. Correct? Then your frame, the body of the car, is made up of metal. So metal industry. The circuits of the car, electronic industry. Okay, so different industries. Identify those industries, construct a segmentation matrix, analyze the segment attractiveness, identify key success factors for each segment, analyze the attractiveness of broad versus narrow segment course. So these are the two important short notes that you have to study. So if you understand, you can write it in your own words. There is no need of writing exactly the same words as they are there in the book. You can write it in your own words, but you should be able to convey the meaning of that particular concept. That's it. Okay. So that completes with a lot of our chapter 1. Then you can look at the vision statement and mission. Vision statement is a declaration of an organization's objectives. In the vision, what we get, organization's objectives, intention to guide its internal decision making. It is a company's roadmap. Vision is a company's roadmap, what they are going to do in the future. Okay, indicating what the company wants to become and guide transformational initiatives by setting a defined direction. Setting a defined direction for the company's growth, where the company is going to be in the next 5 years or next 10 years. That is your vision statement. Vision statements undergo minimal revisions during the life of a business, unlike operational goals, which may be updated from year to year. What is your vision? That is never going to change. Your vision is now to become a chartered accountant. So that is not going to change. Suddenly you will not say that I will, no, I don't want to become a CA, I will become a CMA. You are not going to say that. Since you have joined CA, you are going to have the ultimate objective is what your vision is, that you are going to become a chartered accountant. When you are doing a CA course, your objective will not be, I want to become an MBA, isn't it? So it is not going to change. Once you enter that field, you have entered that field because you had a vision. So until and unless your vision is accomplished, you are not going to come out from it, right? So it is a broader strategic plan, foundation of a broader strategic plan. It motivates existing employees because they will know in which direction the company is going, what are they expected to do, what is the company going to do. Okay, focus on company efforts and facilitate creation of core competencies. Specializing in a particular field, specializing in a particular domain, by directing the company to only focus on strategic opportunities that advance the company's vision. Help the company differentiate from competitors. Then you have the mission statement. Brief description as to why a company exists. Mission. What is the purpose of the company? Why does the company exist? It explains what the company does, who it serves, and what differentiates it from its competitors. Okay. So what is going to be the nature of the business? What are they going to manufacture? Okay. Which particular types of customers they are going to serve, they are going to target, which markets they are going to target, what is the area of operation. These questions are answered by the mission statement. So you have a vision, long-term objective, you have a mission as to the purpose of why your company exists and what you are going to produce, how you are going to produce and achieve the vision. Okay, so I'll give you 2 examples here. Infosys vision to become a globally respected corporation that provides best breed business solutions, leveraging technology delivered by best-in-class people. That is a vision. Mission to achieve the objectives in an environment of fairness, honesty, and courtesy towards our clients, employees, vendors, and society. ICA, your parent organization. World's leading accounting body. The vision is to become the world's leading accounting body, a regulator and developer of trusted and independent professionals. With world-class competencies in accounting, assurance, taxation, finance, and business advisory services. Mission is that ICI will leverage technology and infrastructure and partner with stakeholders to impart world-class education, training, and professional development opportunities. ICI has tied up with a lot of other institutions in Australia, in UK, in US. Okay. Develop an independent and transparent regulatory system that keeps pace with the changing times. Ensure adherence to highest ethical standards. It's very important. Though now we're finding that a lot of chartered accountants are being arrested. Must have heard about that also. A lot of chartered accountants were arrested because of fake documents provided in the GST filing. So a lot of chartered accountants are protesting also on account of the arrest that has taken place. And they are saying that we are not responsible. If the documents have been accepted by the GST authorities, then they are equally responsible for the fraud that has taken place and for the punishment. Even they are equally responsible. So ethical standards are being compromised. Now, just last month, I think it was there in the journal also that a few of our chartered accountants, some of them from Chennai, have been arrested because of falsification of documents, because of falsification of certificates that they have been issued to the companies. Fraudulent companies have come into existence. They have signed on documents where companies are supposed to have come into existence, but there are no such companies. They are fictitious companies. So like that, things are taking place. That is because we are just human beings and we are bound to be influenced by non-ethical practices. So, but ICA wants to ensure that there are highest ethical standards, cutting-edge research and development in the areas of accounting, taxation, and finance, establish ICA members and firms as Indian multinational service providers. So, your ICA members will be doing audit work also. They will be specializing in audit work also. They will be specializing in taxation work also. They will be specializing in valuation work also. That means they are having their specialties not defined only in one area, but they will be multinational service providers. Okay. Now, this was a question that was asked in one of the examinations. Short question for 4 months. Examine the validity of the following statements with reasons. The first one, the concepts, tools, and techniques of value chain analysis apply only to all those organizations which produce and sell a product. That means it is only for manufacturing organizations. Answer is no, it is not correct, because value chain analysis will also be there for a service organization. So even banks are having value chain analysis. So every company which has got a supplier, which has got customer, and which has got a business unit is having a value chain existing for it, whether you are a manufacturing concern or a service organization. So it is invalid because it is also applicable to organizations which provide a service. Second one, they have given procurement activities are included in the primary activities. Procurement activities are included in the primary activities as classified by Porter under value chain analysis concept. Procurement was one of the last point of the support activities. It was not a primary activity, it was support activity. So it is invalid, it is support activity and not a primary activity. So this type of questions, 4 marks, each one is carrying 1 mark. As per Porter's 5 force model, bargaining power of buyers does influence the profitability of an industry or market. Answer is true, because bargaining power of the buyers will decide the price of the product. You cannot charge a very high price. That means you can't have large amount of profits from the customers. So your price will be regulated by the buyers. They will be controlled by the buyers. So your profits also will be controlled by the buyers. Okay. So there will be no high amount of profits. So it is a valid reason. Fourth one, value chain analysis is the strategic framework consists of single cost driver concept. No, single cost driver concept, it's wrong. You have multiple cost driver concepts in value chain analysis. Because what did I tell you? Value chain analysis means the entire link of activities. So we are going to break down the activities and find out the cost drivers of each activity. So you can't have a single cost driver. There will be multiple cost drivers for each activity. Okay. So value chain analysis, invalid. It is consisting of multiple cost drivers. And there are set of unique cost drivers for each value activity. And then you can say that it is further classified into structural drivers and executional drivers, which we have done in the last lecture. Then again, we are having a question in the RTP. This I think we have done yesterday. Fine. So we are through with this chapter. Now there are some case studies which are there, which are given over there. I will do the first case study question with CSP1, that is case study question 1. The reason for this is that normally, as you have seen in the questions also, the idea is that, the feel is that value chain analysis is meant for only manufacturing companies. And last time we had done, yesterday we had done that RTP question, where it was a manufacturing company where we are getting some raw material, we are converting them into some cathode rays and all that. So that was a manufacturing company. So if it is a service company, then how do we identify the primary activities and the secondary activities? That we have to see. So we'll take up this one, CSQ1. Z-Mart was founded in 1990 as a departmental store catering to the entire household requirements, from groceries to clothing. Service organization. Remember that, first of all, that it is a departmental store. So departmental store means it is a service organization. The company since has grown by leaps and bounds and inaugurated its 150th store in 2018. Z-Mart is known for high quality products. Okay. Now, before I proceed further, given a case study in the examination, don't read the case first, because you do not know what you have to look for in the case study. What you do is you go to the last end part of the case and see what is the requirement. What is the requirement? Map the various activities performed to the porter's value chain. Means that I have to identify primary activities and support activities. So it will be a 20 marks question. Okay. The question requires us to identify primary activities and support activities. So don't read the entire case first. First read what is the last part, what is the requirement, because accordingly then I will keep my mind alert. Now in this problem, in this case study, I have to identify the primary activities, 5 of them, and support activities, 4 of them. Okay. Now, Z-Mart is known for high quality products which are available at discount to the market price at its store. The company claims to give at least 5% discount on listed prices across all segments. The sales of the company has grown 30% year-on-year basis. The company has got highest net profit margin and the highest returns on equity in the industry. Z-Mart has tie-ups with more than 600 vendors across India who provide high quality products on demand. Okay. Now this has got something to do with its purchase of raw materials, supplies, 600 vendors are there across the board. Okay. Z-Mart pays all its suppliers in advance, and hence enjoys a preferential pricing as compared to its competitors. Pricing of the product when it is concerned. Now we are getting a special benefit for that. What is the special benefit? The special benefit is the preferential price. That means lower price. They are getting more discounts. They are getting more discounts as compared to competitors. Why? Because we are making payment in advance, not in arrears. So if I'm purchasing raw materials, first I will make the payment and I will say, this is the payment, I want this much quantity of raw materials. So I make the payment first. So that ensures that your customer gives you preferential treatment. Now, these are small things which you have to keep in mind. In Hyderabad, what I do is, as we teachers are all famous for having tea at regular intervals. So there is a small tea corner here, just next to my house. Whenever I go there, I first make payment of 10 rupees and I say one ginger. One ginger means he understands it is ginger tea. There are different types of teas available in that counter. I think at least about 20-25 are there. Just like your Bangalore. In Bangalore, if you go to see Malleshwaram, Swastika and Satvika, go to Malleshwaram. That mall is there right at the entrance. Right? When you are entering Malleshwaram, at the entry point of it, there is one big mall. And in that mall, there is a small counter. You will find different types of tea available there. I think literally about 30 to 50 types of tea is available. So ginger, cardamom, then lemon tea, then black tea and green tea and this tea and that tea, about 25-30. I have actually drank over there. And there are another more which I have not tasted as yet. But it is a real treat if you want to enjoy tea of different types and different varieties. So you can go there once and enjoy the different flavors. So over here, what happens is I go there and give 10 rupees and I say one ginger. So immediately he gives one ginger tea for me. Other customers, they first drink the tea and then they make the payment. And payment also over here, normally people go for scanning that UPI code. I'm paying him in cash, 10 rupees. So I become a different type of customer for him. So whenever I go, as soon as I remove that 10 rupee note, he prepares a cup of tea ready for me. Whereas in case of others, they don't get that preferential treatment. So why? Because they first drink the tea and then they come for different varieties. I have my constant ginger tea. They come for different varieties. So he will wait for them to say which tea they want. Then he will give them the tea. After drinking the tea and after chatting with their friends, they will make the payment. So when you make payment in advance, you always get quality service. You always get preferential service. So this is what the company is saying, that they are making the payments to suppliers in advance. Therefore, they are getting that preferential pricing, different pricing. Second, they are using GIT philosophy, which helps to keep low level of inventories. Okay, GIT, low level of services. Again, this is one of the points that they require in primary activities. Inbound logistics, storage, purchase of raw material, receiving raw material, inspection of raw material, storage of raw materials. So that is a primary activity. Okay. Then products are directly delivered to the stores. Finished product, logistics, outbound logistics, by company-owned trucks and minivans, and hence there is no requirement of warehouses to store the products. So again, there the storage cost is saved, but this is outbound logistics. Outbound logistics, primary activities. The company sells products which are required by households on a day-to-day basis and is not keen to sell premium products which have got higher margin but lower demand. This ensures that the inventory is moved out of the stores faster and increases the inventory turnover ratio. Inventory is moved out of the stores faster increases the inventory turnover ratio. Company owns all the stores operated by it. Very important. Under its brand name, and there is no third party franchise. How this is going to help? This will help because if I have a franchisee operating on my behalf, what will happen? Tomorrow the franchisee decides to close down. My company's business is affected. The franchisee will lose his income, that is a different story. But my company's business will be lost if my franchisee takes a decision to close down that particular area. Or suppose the franchisee does not pay rent of his premises, then the landlord of that particular premise will throw him out. So when he's throwing my franchisee out, actually my business is going on. But if I own that place, then there is no fear of losing business. One more strategy. Okay. Z-Mart invests in superior quality products and high level of customer services rather than aggressive marketing of products. What does a company do? It is depending upon superior quality products and less upon aggressive marketing. Company believes that more customers can be attracted by offering quality products at reasonable prices rather than spend huge amount on marketing. However, need-based marketing activities are carried out. That means marketing is done, but whatever is required to that extent. Z-Mart aims to build customer loyalty through high level of customer service. Customer loyalty through high level of customer service. Z-Mart is one of the few companies which has witnessed a low employee turnover. Low employee turnover. That means I'm taking care of my employees also. So low employee turnover, and how that is done. Motivation level of employees is very high, which results in excellent performance across all levels. Company rewards its employees through ESOPs. These are all what? These are all secondary or support activities, right? Human resource management, HR. This now comes under HR. Low employee turnover, high motivation of employees, rewarding of employees. This all comes under HR. The company has an excellent IT structure, infrastructure for all its activities. Where does this come? Technological development. Not infrastructure, technological development. Okay. And it has got implemented SAP R3, which is one of the leading ERP systems globally. Okay. Various reports relating to inventory levels, sales, liquidity position, etc., are available on real-time basis. So various reports are available on real-time basis. This again technological development. Map the various activities performed at Z-Mart to the Porter's value chain analysis. So tell me one by one now. Let us start with primary activities. Primary activities, the first activity is inbound logistics. So tell me which of these items will come as inbound logistics. We got the entire story before you. What will come under inbound logistics? It's not a manufacturing unit. So you can't say, I'm having a supplier who's supplying raw materials to me. I'm checking the raw materials. You can't do that. Because it's a departmental store, a service organization. So what is inbound logistics for you? Inbound logistics for you is the movement of goods, finished goods, from the supplier to the ultimate customer. For example, Big Bazaar is there. Big Bazaar is there. Does Big Bazaar manufacture anything? No. It is providing a service. It is providing a service. So it purchases different products from different suppliers, different manufacturers, and supplies it to the customers. That is inbound logistics. So the nature of your answer changes now. Nature of your answer changes because it's not a manufacturing company, it is a service company. So departmental store, think about a big bazaar. That is just next to your door house. So big bazaar, departmental store that is operating. It does not manufacture anything. So what is inbound logistics? Purchasing goods, delivering to customers. Okay, purchasing goods, putting it in your retail shop, delivering it to customers, selling it to customers. Okay, company has its own transport to purchase the goods and bring the goods back over here. Okay, so they have said that company has its own products are directly delivered to the stores by company owned trucks and minivans, and hence there is no requirement of warehouses to store the products. So storage possibility is not there, right? Then operations. Tell me what will be operations under this one? It's not a manufacturing company. So what will be operations here?
Whether to see that whether the products are of good quality.
Okay. What else? Operations. You will have to write
Selling.
since it's not a manufacturing organization, there will be no question of conversion of raw materials into finished product. Very important statement. Why they will give you this? Because they want you to write this statement in your answer. What will you write? Since it is not a manufacturing organization, there will be no conversion of raw materials into finished products. Therefore, what will be the operational services? Can you tell me? Yes, Akhilesh.
Selling the household requirements.
No, think about a big bazaar. What is the operational? Suppose you are the manager of a big bazaar store. What is your operational activity?
So the consistent maintenance of the stores. Constantly they maintain the stores.
Maintenance of the stores. Whatever products you have purchased, you have to lay them out in separate corners. So you will not find all vegetables and toys and clothes and everything together in big bazaar. You'll find a separate section for vegetables, separate section for fruits, separate section for cosmetics, separate section for other items. So like that, you have to departmentalize. So layout of the stores is important. Okay. So operational activities will involve, you'll have to write that there is no conversion of raw material into finished product. However, since it's a departmental store, the operational activities will involve layout of the entire departmental store into different sections or different types of products. Simple language. You don't have to study for this or mother for this. Simple language. Whatever you picturize in big bazaar, that there are different departments. So laying out the products in different sections, different departments, so that it becomes easier for customers to identify the goods, right? So then no owner, no lease is there, no franchisee is there, direct ownership is there. So you are the owner of the place. So you can have your own, branding done. You can have it your own layout and own infrastructure for the facilities. You don't have to depend upon the franchise. That is your operational activity. Outbound logistics. Again, outbound logistics. Company is selling the products directly to the customers, and therefore there is no need for storing the goods. Okay, there is no need for storing the goods. All the customers are delivered the products directly from the retail shop. Company does not have any warehousing or storage requirement. Okay, customers will come to the stores, purchase the product, and go. So that means there is only the retail shop that you are having. There is no storage as such. There is no warehouse as such. Okay, that is outbound logistics. Marketing and sales. Marketing and sales. Company depends upon quality, selling only quality products. So they don't need to advertise also, because customers know that once you enter into a particular departmental store, they are going to get quality products. So quality products. That is how they market the products. They increase the marketing activities by increasing the quality of the products, and they gain the customer loyalty on account of that. As a result of this, they save a lot on advertising and marketing. They do only need-based marketing and sales. Service, after sales service is given to the customers. Okay, after sales service is given to the customers. There are more than 600 vendors across the country. That is our procurement you can talk about. That is primary support activities. More than 600 vendors across the country, and you are having payments made to them on an advance basis, so you are getting the best of quality of products and also large amount of preferential pricing from them. Technological development, we have just discussed here, that we are having an infrastructure, IT infrastructure. We are implementing SAP R3 as a leading ERP system, and as a result of that, all the reports are available on a real-time basis. GIT system has been implemented, which is again a technological development where you are trying to ensure that there is no storage of raw materials. Okay. Then HR is, as I told you, low employee turnover, high motivation level of employees. Employees are rewarded through ESOPs. Okay, so there is constant motivation of employees in the organization, as a result of which the employee turnover rate is less in the company. Fine. So these are all the primary and support activities. Any difficulty? Like that, you are having case study 2 and case study 3. Okay, just go through that. I've given you the answers of all these 3 case studies over here. So on page number 23, you can just check. You have got solutions to case study. Case study 1 also I've given you the solution. Case study 2 also I've given you the solution. Okay, so you can just go through and see as to how the answers are written and get familiar with them. Now we come to chapter number 2. But before I come to chapter number 2, I want to give you the homework that you have to do for Monday. So write down the homework that you have to do. Write down. Analyze Adidas. Must have heard about Adidas, no? Analyze Adidas as a company on the basis of Porter's 5-force model. Porter's 5-force model. Okay, so you have to elaborate on each of the 5 points which are there. Threat of new substitutes, bargaining power of supplier, bargaining power of customer, threat of entry. So all these 5 points I want in relation to Adidas as a company. Okay. Before we start with the second chapter, we can take a small break here. 5 minutes break. It is 8:43 on my watch. 8:50 I'll start. 7 minutes. 8:50 I started. Take a break. what we are going to learn in the second chapter here. The first part that we are going to touch upon is what is meant by cost of quality. Normally, when this question is asked to students, we say that cost of quality means the cost of manufacturing quality products. But unfortunately, that is not the definition of cost of quality in strategic cost management. In strategic cost management, the cost of quality I'm going to classify into two categories. The first is cost of conformance. And the second is cost of non-conformance. Now you have to be careful with the spelling of this word. It is not conformance, it is conformance. It is not FIR, it is FOR. Conform, conform means to adhere, to follow. Confirm, FIRM, is to assure. So it is conform, not confirm. So conformance, cost of conformance and cost of non-conformance. Cost of following and cost of not following. Okay, so basically cost of quality means what? Like it is like saying that you have to study for your exam on a regular basis. And I tell you that all of you have to put in at least 2 hours of studies every day. In addition to my class. So whether my class is there or not there, 2 hours of your studies you have to do on an everyday basis for your CA final, till your date of examination. Now, I tell you that if you don't study on a regular basis, you will pay the cost of it in the examination. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean? It means, doesn't mean that if you're not going to study, you are going to pay something. It's not that. It means that if you're not going to study, you will have to pay it in a different form. The cost will come in a different form. The cost of not studying will be not clearing the exam. Right? So what is the cost of quality? The cost of quality is the cost of not producing quality products. It is not cost of producing quality products. It is the cost of not producing quality products. Sorry. So if it is cost of not producing quality products, it means that if you don't manufacture quality products, if you don't conform to the requirements of quality, then in that case, you are going to pay a price. That price will be loss of customers, loss of profit, loss of goodwill, loss of benefit. That is the cost. Okay. So cost of conformance, cost of following or cost of adhering to quality. There are two costs over here. One is the prevention cost. One is the appraisal cost. Prevention cost, we say always prevention is better than cure, meaning advisable to take preventive steps than to take curative steps. Better to eat good food, healthy food, clean food, rather than paying, eating junk food and then going to the doctor and paying for it. Prevention is better than cure, right? So eating a good healthy diet rather than paying the doctor. Preventive measures. So prevention, cost of prevention. Okay. So cost of prevention actually takes place before the operation starts, before manufacturing starts. So what are the costs involved? In prevention cost, I will say planning, cost of planning, Okay, cost of training to employees, training cost of employees, cost of defining processes of manufacture. Okay, cost of quality, that is quality improvement projects, quality improvement projects. Technical support provided to suppliers, technical support to suppliers. You know, yesterday we were talking about the supply chain, value chain analysis. What did I tell you yesterday? That suppose you find that the supplier is having a problem, he's having a labor problem, he's having a manufacturing problem, he's having a financial problem. We have to go and sometimes help the supplier. Why? Because this quality of raw materials is going to affect my production. If there is any problem in his factory as a result of which I am not going to get my raw materials on time, or I'm not going to get quality raw materials, then I will have to go and help him to give me quality products, give me quality raw materials. Okay, so this is done before the operation starts. Appraisal. Appraisal cost is also called as inspection cost. Because here we do inspection of various things. Inspection of raw materials, inspection of equipments, okay, supervision of testing activities, supervision of testing activities, maintenance of equipment. Sometimes machines need to be calibrated. Calibrated in the sense that, for example, you are having a digital thermometer with which you check your temperature, digital thermometer. Sometimes that requires calibration because starting point may not be exactly zero. It may not be exactly zero. It may be 0.1 or something like that. So there is some error is there. So when you take your temperature, it will not give you the correct temperature. So calibration is required. So maintenance of equipment, calibration of equipment. Okay. Field testing. That means testing the product at the point of installation. So suppose you are manufacturing something like a geyser or a refrigerator. Now you go to the client's place, you install it and then test it, whether it is working or not working. So that testing, field testing. These are all appraisal costs. Cost of non-conformance. Internal failure cost. External failure cost. Internal failure cost. Cost of scrap. Cost of rework. Okay. Testing of rework. Testing of rework. Cost of disposal of defective products. Cost of analysis of defective products. So these are all internal failure costs. External failure cost, warranty cost, liability arising from defective products, liability arising from defective products. So some products, let us say electronic products are there, and the customer has purchased an electronic product from you. On installation of that electronic product, there is a short circuit and there is a fire. So the customer files a case against you. So liability for legal cases arising out of defective products, loss of sales, loss of goodwill, product recalls. You find that a particular batch of products is defective. Recall that entire batch, especially as far as pharmaceuticals are concerned. On every pharmaceutical product that you purchase, whether it is your pain balm or whatever it is. Suppose you are purchasing a Vicks vapor or you are purchasing some medicines like Coldering. Okay, what you'll find is that on that particular strip, you'll find batch number. Now, suppose you find that after the product is sold, remember what I said, after the product is sold, you find that there were some defects in that particular batch. So you can recall that entire batch by the batch number. Okay, cars which are manufactured, they are manufactured in batches. The particular batch of cars, you have installed the batteries, and there are some defective batteries which are likely to explode. You recall all that entire batch of cars. Okay, so like this, recalling of products. Now, how to identify? Now, the question in the examination will be identify. Given a particular set of activities, identify whether it is prevention, appraisal, internal or external. How to identify? Prevention cost is always before the production starts. Before the production starts, before the operation starts. Okay, so before the operational activities start, whatever activities you are doing, that is preventive activities. Planning of your production process, training cost of employees, defining the processes and the order in which they are going to be taking place, quality improvement projects to improve the quality of the raw materials, to improve the quality of the products, technical support given to suppliers, all before the production starts. Appraisal is basically got to do with inspection. Okay, inspection of raw materials, inspection of equipment, supervision of testing activities, maintenance of equipment, field testing, all testing activities, inspection activities, appraisal. Internal failure is after manufacture, but before dispatch to customers. Internal failure are all examples of after manufacture, before disposal to customers. External failure is after disposal to customers, after selling the goods to the customers. So what is the difference between internal and external? Internal is after production, but before it is sold to customers. External failure cost after the goods are sold to customers. Okay, so there will be questions which will be asked on the classification of items into different categories. Fine. Let us come to page number 29. Page 29 of our material. Okay. Example 1. 28 you take, sir. 28. Example 1. TQ Limited implemented a quality improvement program and had the following results. You are given the sales, scrap, rework, production inspection, product warranty, quality training, material inspection. All these are given to you for 2 years, 2019 and 2020. What you are asked? Classify the quality costs. Classification as prevention, appraisal, internal and external failure cost, and express each class as a percentage of sales. So now let me ask you as to what will be the different costs which are going to come. Tell me, scrap will come where? What will be scrap? Scrap will be
Internal failure.
internal failure. Rework will come where?
Internal failure.
Internal failure. Product inspection. Inspection will come where?
Appraisal.
Okay.
Product warranty. Warranty is at the end after sales. So where will it come?
External.
External failure.
External failure.
Quality training. Training will come where?
Prevention.
Prevention. Material inspection will come where?
Appraisal.
Inspection.
Price.
Inspection. Appraisal. Okay. So that is the classification. So you can see here classification is given. And I have put the figures in the columns over here. Sales is given as 60 lakhs in both the cases for both the years. Now in the first part, prevention, you are having only 75,000. You calculate that as a percentage of sales, it is 1.25%. And the second year, it is 2.5%. Now, what is the question asking you? Compute the amount of increase in profits due to quality improvement. We'll see what is quality improvement. So 75,000 in relation to 60 lakhs is 1.25, 1 lakh 50 in relation to 60 lakhs is 2.5. Then total appraisal cost is 2,80,000. That comes to 4.67% of sales. Here it is 5% of sales. Internal failure comes to 18.33% and 11.67%. External failure comes to 5% and 2.5%. Now, what you have to observe here? What you have to observe here? The first half and the second half. Okay, first half and second half. What you are going to observe and what should be your analysis? Conformative cost, which is prevention plus appraisal. If you increase, listen to what I'm saying. Your conformation cost, that is made up of prevention and appraisal cost. If you increase, if you invest more in prevention and appraisal cost, you incur more expenditure. I don't call it as expenditure. What do we call it now? We call it as investment. If you make more investment in the prevention cost and the appraisal cost, what should happen? The non-conformance cost should come down. Non-conformance cost should come down. So what has happened? Quality training has increased from 1.25 to 2.5%. Your appraisal cost has increased from 4.67% to 5%. Good. You are investing more in the conformation cost. Has that resulted in improvement? Let us see. Internal failure has come down, has reduced from 18.33 to 11.67%. So that means there is a effect on the defective parts of the product. External failure has come down from 5% to 2.5%. So by investing more in the conformation cost of conformance, by investing more in the cost of conformance, these are two separate parts. When you have invested more in prevention cost, you have taken care to prevent the raw materials from being defective, to ensure that your workers are not lacking training, to inspect your product. So when you have taken preventive measures, you have taken appraisal measures, obviously your defectives should reduce, your failure cost should reduce. So has it reduced? Yes. Internal failure has come down from amount wise 11 lakhs to 7 lakhs. So 18.33 to 11.6. The external failure cost has again reduced by half from 3 lakhs to 1 lakh 50. So there is an impact. Let me ask you the question that way also. Analysis. Do the cost analysis. The cost analysis, how you will do? You will say that by incurring more of prevention cost and appraisal cost, the failure cost has reduced. Okay. And as a result of that, what has happened? As a result of that, my profitability has increased. Why the profitability has increased? Because there is a savings in cost. Initially, my cost was 17,55,000. Now my cost is coming to only 13 lakhs. So my cost has reduced from 17 lakh 55 to 13 lakhs. So any reduction in cost, any savings in cost will result in what? Will result in profit. So since there is a savings in cost to the extent of, this is your total cost. So 75 plus 280, that is 355. 355 plus 11 is 1455 plus 3, 1755. This is your total cost. Okay, so your total cost has come down from 17 lakh 55,000 to 13 lakhs, which means there is a savings in cost, which indicates that there is a increase in profit. Okay, second example here. What they are saying is, a company makes a single product which sells at 800 rupees per unit and whose variable cost of production is 500 per unit. Selling price is given, variable cost is given. Production and sales are 1000 units per month. Production is running to full capacity and there is enough market to absorb an additional 20% of output each month. So that means even if you produce additional 20%, it can be sold. The company has two options. Option one, inspect goods, finished goods at 10,000 rupees per month. 4% of production is detected as defectives and scrapped at no value. There will be no warranty replacement. No warranty replacement. Okay, since every defective is detected. Every defective is detected. A small part which wears out to be defective material is required to be replaced at 2,000 rupees per spare of every 20 units scrap generated. So, defective material required to be replaced at 2,000 per spare for every 20 units scrap. This repair cost is not included in the manufacturing cost mentioned above. That is the first option. So what is the first option? Conduct inspection of finished goods. Cost of inspection 10,000 per month. 4% of the production you are going to have defective and scrapped at no value. No warranty replacement is there, but you will have a small cost incurred to the extent of 2,000 per spare for every 20 units of scrap generated. What is the second option? Second option is shift the finished products inspection at no extra cost to raw material inspection. So what is the meaning of this? Shift the finished goods inspection to raw material inspection. That means instead of doing inspection of finished goods, we will do inspection of raw materials only. That means we prepone that particular activity. So instead of doing inspection after the product is manufactured, where you find that product is defective, I will do the inspection before the product is manufactured to ensure that defective raw materials don't enter the process. Followed. So extra cost to raw material inspection, finished goods inspection is shifted to raw material inspection. Since defective raw materials are entitled to free replacement, if I find that raw materials are defective, I can replace it from the supplier. But if finished goods are defective, my entire expenditure is lost. Right? Take up machine setup, tuning and material machine inspection at an additional cost of 8,000 per month. So that scrap of finished goods is completely eliminated. So no scrap of finished goods is. However, delivery of uninspected finished goods may result in 1% of the quantity sold to be replaced under the free warranty due to minor variation in dimensions, which does not result in the wearing out of the spares as stated in option 1. Using monthly figures relevant for decision making, advise which option is more beneficial to the company from a financial perspective. Identify the quality costs that can be classified as appraisal cost and external failure cost. So we have done this calculation. You can see that. Spare part cost for 40 units at the rate of 1 per 20 units. At the rate of 1 per 20 units is equal to 2 spare parts. 40 units are there. No? For every 20 units, there is one scrap. So for 40 units, there will be two scraps, two spares. So two spares at the rate of 2,000 per spare. It is going to be an appraisal cost, inspection cost for first option. It is not there for the second option. They have clearly said it is not there in the second option. Does not result in the wearing out of the spare as stated in option. Second one, finished goods inspection is there in the first option. So we will incur that 10,000 cost. Inspection cost means appraisal cost. That is now shifted to raw material inspection. Again, inspection cost, that will be appraisal cost, 10,000. So 10,000 is incurred in both the options. The first option, it is incurred as finished goods inspection. In the second option, it is incurred as raw material inspection, but cost is incurred. Third, raw material inspection scrap at 4%, 40 units into variable cost of 500. 4% in the first option. 4% of production. Okay, 4% of production, 4% of 1,000 units. Are detected as defectives and scrapped at no value. So 4% of 1,000 is 40 units. 40 units, what we have lost a variable cost. So 40 into 500, 20,000 is the loss in the first case, no loss in the second case. Contribution lost. Contribution lost in the first case, selling price minus variable cost, 800 minus 500 is 300. Okay, that is a contribution lost. So 300 into 40 units in the first case, 300 into 10 units in the second case. So that is your contribution loss, 12,000 and 3,000. Machine inspection is taking place only in option 2 at 8,000 rupees per month. So machine inspection 8,000 here. Okay. Warranty replacement not taking place in the first option, nil. 1,000 units at 1% for 500 rupees, variable cost incurred only. So that will come to 5,000. Take the total of option 1 and option 2. Total cost is 46,000 in the option 1, 26,000 in the option 2. So option 2 is preferred. Meaning, what is option 2? Shifting the inspection from finished goods to raw material inspection. If we do that, then there will be a savings in cost to the extent of 20,000. So this will be a savings in cost. Savings in cost means profit. So there will be a profit of 20,000 if you are adopting option 2. Right? So option 2 is preferred as the total costs are comparatively lower. So these are the types of questions that you can get in the examination. So many times, mark my words, many times students say that it is a small topic, unimportant topic, leave it for not option, but leave it after reading. Okay, I know this appraisal cost, this is a failure, internal failure, that is external failure, that is inspection. But how to solve a question on this cost of quality? That is what exactly I have shown you in these two examples. And both these examples are, one is from the RTP, one is from the examination. Okay, so never take any part of your syllabus lightly, because you never know when you can be asked a question on that. Okay, so this is what we have done up till today. Cost of quality, classification of cost of quality into two parts: cost of conformance, cost of non-conformance. Cost of conformance, prevention cost, appraisal cost. Cost of non-conformance, internal failure, external failure. How to identify which is the cost? Anything that is prior to your production process. Prior to your production process is a preventive cost. Anything which is testing in nature, testing of equipment, testing of your machines, inspection of your raw material, all that, inspection of finished goods is all appraisal activities. Internal failure, all the cost that is incurred after the production but before the goods are dispatched to customers. Scrap, reworking, defectives which are disposed, cost of disposal, all that is taking place before the goods are dispatched to customer. Internal failure cost. External failure cost, those expenses which are incurred after the goods have been sold to the customer, right? So for example, customer has sold some defective goods. The customer returns the goods back under the warranty and says that I want replacement or I want my money back. So that is a external failure cost. Customer has sold a defective article, as I told you, electronic item they have sold which is defective in nature. Because of that, there is a short circuit. Customer files a case against you. Liability is there, criminal liability, civil liability. So damage is paid. That is your external failure cost. Okay. So classification of cost is one type of question. And these two examples that I have shown to you, this is the actual type of questions which are asked in the examination. The first question is for 8 marks. The second question is for 4 marks. Okay. So they are important. Everything that is there in the syllabus is important. Questions can be asked, practical questions can be asked with numerical figures. So understand the concept also and understand how to solve the problem also. Because as we have done in the second example, they will give you 2 options and they will ask you which is better. So along with that, they have asked you classification also of the expenditures. So classification plus working out the figures, calculating where the total cost is more, where you are having savings and cost, that is also a part of your question. Right? Any difficulty up till here? Anything that you have not understood? Everything is clear? Okay, so we'll stop here for today. It's 9:30. We'll continue tomorrow and we'll continue with the questions which are based on this particular chapter and we'll proceed further. Homework is for Monday. Okay. Have a nice day.